Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam panghum langayate girim Yatkripatamaham vande paramanandamadhavam Shri Chaitanyamishwaram Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshvabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I am not able to see any of you. Please, your enthusiasm, your willingness to take part, and your dedication and commitment towards Srimad Bhagavatam is something that is visible to me. You all have it, I know, but visible to me, and it's very encouraging and contagious. If you all were to turn on your videos, that will really inspire me. It's a request. Okay, so we have been discussing from the first canto, third chapter, and yesterday's discussion we had on the Virat Rupa, the Virat Purusha, right? The gross and subtle form of Virat Purusha. The gross form of Virat Purusha is the universal structure, and the subtle form of Virat Purusha is Hiranyagarbha, the collection of all the spirit souls. So that is something where we paused our discussion yesterday, and today we are going to resume from the first canto, third chapter, shloka number 33. Okay, so I'll be reciting the shloka, and I would request maybe 2 or 3 devotees to please join me and recite the shloka after me. Yatre me sad asad rupe pratisiddhe swasamvida avidyayatmani krite iti tat brahma darshanam. Yatre me sad asad rupe pratisiddhe swasamvida avidyayatmani krite iti tad brahma darshanam. Yatre me sad asad rupe pratisiddhe swasamvida avidyayatmani krite iti tad brahma darshanam. Okay, Aishwarya Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam. Yatre me sarasatrupe pratisiddhe swasamvida avidyatmani krite iti tad brahma darshanam.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu, so much. Yes. Riya.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yatre me sad asadrupe pratisiddhe swasamvida avidyayatmani krite iti tad brahma darshanam.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare
Yashita
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yatre me tad asadrupe pratishithe swasamveda avidyayatmani krite iti tad brahma darshanam.
Thank you. Last,
Thank you.
Nisha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
I will
Krishna.
try. Yatre me sadas drupe sadasadrupe प्रतिषिद्धे स्वसंविदा अविद्ययात्मनि कृते इति तद् ब्रह्मादर्शनम्. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much, dear devotees, for participating in the sloka recitation, which you all recited beautifully. Haribol. So now let's see the Anvaya, the word-to-word meaning. So this particular shloka is explaining about that particular time when a yogi experiences self-realization and God realization. That is the context for this sloka, right? When is that? So yatra ime, yatre, whenever, when, ime means, now what is the subject matter? Ime, these. Which these? Sad asad rupe. Sadrupa is the gross form of Virat Purusha, and Asadrupa is the subtle form of the Virat Purusha. So whenever these two forms, that is the gross form, the structure, and the subtle form, Hiranyagarbha, right? Pratishdhe Swaswamvida. Yes, he understands Swasamvida Pratishiddhe. Oh, these have nothing to do with the pure self, right? These two forms are nothing to do with the pure selves. Now whose forms, these two forms? See, we had discussed about Virat Purusha's forms, subtle and gross. At the same time, here the subtle and gross forms are mentioned about one's own body also. I have nothing to do with my gross body. Just like Virat Purusha has a gross body, subtle body, but actual soul is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So one understands this. Similarly, I also have a gross body made of Panch Mahabhut, Bhumira Panala Vayukham. And I also have a subtle body made of Man Buddhi Ahankar. Right? I also have. But Pratishiddhe, I have nothing to give and taste or samvida. That is the time one becomes self-realized. Going beyond this material body, the gross body and subtle body. Which is actually, and one understands these two. What are these two things? Avidyaya, Atmani. Because of ignorance, I associate myself with these two things, but actually I have nothing. I sometimes consider me. This is me. Okay, this is me. Or I am my mind. I am my intellect. And I hold on to some or the other identification in this material world, which is called as false ego. Why does all this happen? Avidyaya. That's the first and foremost covering of nescience that Brahmaji created. Right? So that is avidya. Because of avidya means ignorance. Avidya atmani krite. So because of this avidya, because of this ignorance, I have imposed these two forms upon myself. Iti tat Brahma darshanam. Thus in this manner, when one understands I have nothing to do with the gross body, subtle body. Just like Virat Purusha's two gross and subtle body. Yes, by meditation on Virat Purusha's gross and subtle forms, yogi develops this realization. Yeah, that I have nothing to do with my gross body and subtle body. And thus, he begins what? He begins his self-realization. Okay. Alright, so before we go to purport, I just wanted to say something. So this particular shloka, as per the commentary of Acharyas, yeah, this verse answers the question of how, if Virat Purusha's gross and subtle form is ultimately material, then how can we see Brahman? So this question is answered in this verse. So the material forms, the gross and subtle, they are removed. In the sense they are nothing connected to me. So that conception is removed. Yes. So these two forms, that is the Virat Purusha, subtle and gross forms, are real, they're removed. That means they are not much given importance, as we were discussing yesterday from 2nd canto 10th chapter. An intelligent person doesn't give much importance to these forms. Yes, samvida, swa. So these devotees, because these forms are imposed upon, similarly just like our gross and subtle body is imposed by ignorance. Deha ankaranad dehadyasyo jivehi avidyaya. Deha, this body, gross body or subtle body, ahankaranad, because of the false ego, dehadyaso jivehi avidyaya. This exists only because of ignorance. Na tata jagat adhyasya paramatmani yujyate. Right? So similarly, in this manner, the universe is not imposed upon by Paramatma. With the removal of these two material forms, one can see the Brahman. So first, it's very important that we also understand gross body, subtle body, then go beyond. So similarly, yogi first understands, okay, gross body, subtle body, that is the gross Virat Purusha, the subtle Virat Purusha is Hiranyagarbha, and finally the Paramatma. Oh, there is Paramatma everywhere. The Lord is situated in every single atom as Paramatma. Yes. Okay, so who would like to begin reading the purport? You can keep reading till the time I request you to pause. If I request you to pause, you can pause and we'll have some discussion. Okay, since Riya Mataji's got a chance already, we'll give chance to Krishna Kumar Prabhu. Yes, please read.
Not visible yet.
Okay, not yet. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The difference between self-realization and material illusion is to know that the temporary or illusory impositions of material energy in the shape of gross and subtle bodies are superficial coverings of the self. The coverings take place due to ignorance. Such coverings are never effective in the person of the personality of Godhead. Knowing this convincingly is called liberation or seeing the absolute. This means that perfect self-realization is made possible by adoption of godly or spiritual life. Can you take it up? Self-realization means becoming indifferent to the needs of the gross and subtle bodies and becoming serious about the activities of the self. The impetus of the act for activities is generated from the self, but such activities become illusory due to ignorance of real position of the self. By ignorance, self-interest is calculated in terms of the gross and subtle bodies, and therefore a whole set of activities is spoiled, life after life. When, however, one meets the self by proper culture, the activities of the self begin. Therefore, a man who is engaged in the activities of the self is called Jivan Mukta, or a liberated person, even in conditional existence.
Thank you. It's a very nice, amazing purport by Srila Prabhupada. So there's few points to discuss here. Yeah. So firstly, what is being mentioned by Srila Prabhupada, he's talking about coverings. And that is why this whole process is called to discover yourself. Discover, removing that covering. And how many coverings? Two coverings. How many of you have seen Amazon package when you order some goods? The Amazon sends you. Outside there is a wrapper, Amazon. You remove that, there is inside a box, Amazon. Again, you remove that, there is this particular plastic covering. Remove that, there is bubble wrap. Remove that, there is again this. My God, so many coverings. That is how things are processed in this material world, the world of coverings. But what is the value of those coverings? Yes, what do we do with all those coverings? Of course, we retain some. If you have to return it back, then we may have to keep the coverings. But as such, that coverings don't have much of value. Right? We don't do. We are interested in the ultimate commodity. Tada pasyati vastava vastu sukshmam. And that's what we sukshmatvat. The whole shastras, they teach us that we also need to be like that particular person who is getting the Amazon delivery. He is focused on the product, the real product, and not getting distracted by all these coverings. And those coverings have that much value. These bodies also have that much value as much as the coverings. So what exactly happens? How did the jiva come in the covering? This is actually a subject matter of discussion in one of the questions that Parikshit Maharaj asks Shukadeva Goswami. After hearing about the Brahma Narada Samvad, right? There is a huge discussion. Parikshit Maharaj is inspired to ask 21 questions in a flow. And that this comes in the second canto, 8th chapter. And that forms the entire basis for the rest of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So in that, one of the most interesting questions that he asks is, when did the jiva get into Maya? This is a question that all of us know. So yes, so Maya covers the jiva, and that's called as Avarana Atmika. Avarana Atmika means the covering, to cover the jiva with the different layers of covering. Why? The jiva is covered with different layers if he has a desire to be an enjoyer. Yes, bhogavritti. So if we feel, we think or act like enjoyers, avarnatmika. And avarnatmika is not alone. After avarnatmika comes prakshapatmika, kicking, no punching, kicking. Kicks are more painful than punches because legs are stronger. That's what even martial arts they teach. There's an entire science of martial arts called taekwondo, where with kicks we can neutralize the enemy. That's the art. So Maya Avaranatmika has to definitely is followed by Prakshapatmika. If he has covered you, she will get beatings also. It's just like in the movies they show. There is a person who is walking on the street, few goons cover him up with blanket and beat him with all different kind of hockey sticks, cricket bat, with kicks. They hit him. That's the position of Avaranatmika, Prakshapatmika. This is something that happens because of ignorance. And mainly why this happens? Because we consider ourselves as enjoyers. That's it. To treat this enjoying mentality, Maya gives us beatings. So just like there is a saying, you want to tame a beast, the beast is tamed by petting. That's one of the most important part of even parenting, as per Chanakya Pandit. He says that a child has to be chastised, otherwise there will not be formation of character. So similarly, we are not agreeing by simple talks. Krishna gave us Bhagavad Gita, he's sweetly asking us to surrender, and we are saying no, we are not going to surrender. Then okay, fine, then forcibly you have to surrender. Just yesterday I was reading this very famous bhaj by Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur. Amara jivana sada papirata nahika punyera lesha parite udvega diyachi ye koro. So this Bhaktivinoda Thakur is listing down all varieties of sinful habits, sinful qualities. I think I'll show you that. I just wanted to share. I made notes based on Prabhupada's purport of the song. So there are 13 factors I was just studying. This is precisely who gets beatings from Maya. Yeah. So what is priority of the person? The priority is sense gratification. Because of sense gratification, I can do any sin. I can go to any extent to commit sin. That's his priority. I don't care if I am sinful. So he gets beatings. What is his dedication? His dedication is to his personal interest. What is my interest? That's my dedication. What is his pain? His pain is to see others happy. What is his pleasure? To see others miserable. What is his mood? The mood is always proud, puffed up. How does he get enchantment? He gets enchanted by any Dhanam Janam Sundari, material subject matter. Material subject matter in general is classified, Mahaprabhu gave us, Dhanam Janam Sundari. This is how it is categorized. What is his ornament? Oh, his ornament is envy. He is conquered by sleep and laziness. Where what he is enthusiastic for? He is enthusiastic for performing sinful activities. How does he live? His means of livelihood, cheating others. What is his constant state? His constant state is greed. Always greedy for more matter. What about his association? Oh, absolutely thoroughly avoids devotee association. And in fact, he has lost devotee association because of offensive mentality. And finally, what is his attractions? He is attracted only and only to something mischievous. Shubha karya shunya. He is not attracted to any shubha karyas, auspiciousness. He is only attracted to do mischievous things. Okay, so these are the 13 points. And in general also, his inclination is what? His inclination in general is give trouble to others and enjoy. Such people are beaten by Maya. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, what I liked the most is the result. What is the result of doing all this? You do this lifelong. And how long we can do this? We can do this when we are the peak of youth. Then what is the result? Result is number one, you become invalid because of sufferings. You get so much suffering. Maya gives so much suffering, beating, you become invalid. Number one. Second point, you will be brought to a point where you will have no alternative. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says this. No alternative. Now you will have no option. That you will get then once you go to the point of no alternative, then what will happen? Oh, then you become humbled and meek. You become humbled. Nana dukhe jara jara bardye ke ekona upaya vihina tate dina akinchana. He becomes humbled. So his whole proposal to all of us living entities, yes, anyway we have to, this is the final state. Forcibly you have to become humble, right? Then why not become humble before doing all this only? And change your inclination and goal. The moment the goal is changed, your name is erased from Maya's hit list. She's not going to hit you. Change goal. I want to serve. Okay, leave. Leave. We'll catch someone else who wants to enjoy. We'll beat that fellow. Others, no problem. Leave them. Nice, right? So please read this bhajan and purport of Srila Prabhupada, which is very beautiful to this bhajan. These are all from purport of Prabhupada. He has explained very nicely this, and I have kind of made notes of this 13 factors and 3 results. And of course, before that 13 factor, there's one personal. What is his goal of life? His goal of life is to give others suffering and enjoy. Sadist, being a sadist, like Mrigari. He was getting out of his cruelty, his sadistic enjoyment, he was getting by giving trouble to other poor creatures, and he was getting enjoyment. So that's Brigari. Yes. So what is mentioned here in the purport by Srila Prabhupada is understanding this. Now we have to understand what happens. Sequence. We today just saw this Amar Jivan, this slides. Okay. By knowing why Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given us this, by understanding this anyway we have to become humble. Why not we become now? Humble means what? Humble practically means to become serious in spiritual life. I will become serious in spiritual life. Yes. And that is actually the determination which will take us to being a Jivan Mukta. Iharasya Harirdasya Karmana Manasa Gira Nikilashu Api Avastasu Jivan Muktastad Uchyate. One becomes a Jivan Mukta. That particular verse, we have to read the translation. We'll read it. I will take it another fall because very important to know this verse. It's a very famous shloka which is quoted by Rupa Goswami. Yes. This comes in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Can someone read the translation? Very important. Who is a Jivan Mukta? A person who has completed his project before the deadline. It's called Jivan Mukta. Okay. Please read. Yes, Sachidanand Prabhu. Please read.
A person acting in Krishna consciousness, or in other words, in the service of Krishna. With his body, mind, intelligence, and words, he is liberated from even within the material world, although he may be engaged in many so-called material activities.
Yes. The next line of Prabhupada is very important also. He has no false ego, for he does not, oh Krishna. Yes. He has no false ego, for he does not believe that he is this material body or he possesses this. So when unless this conception is coming, one cannot be Jivan Mukta. So this verse is very much connected to this theme. This comes in Bhagavad Gita 5th chapter 11th verse. Right? He has no false ego, for he does not believe that he is this material body. So we have to first get this. Then with this belief that we are not this material body, then we act in Krishna consciousness as a servant of Krishna. Then who we are Jivan. Although one may be doing material activities, one is sleeping, one is cooking, going to work, maintaining family, whatnot. But if the false ego is gone, and the true ego of being a Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nityadas is there, and with that conception, with that belief, we are acting in service of Krishna with our body, mind or words, then we are already liberated. Yes. So one can be liberated even in this world while still having a so-called gross body, subtle body. So this is what Prabhupada is teaching us to adopt. Okay. I'm just going to mute everyone. Okay. All right. Who would like to read the next part? Anyone? Are you all able to see? Just one paragraph you have to read. Okay, Yashita, please go ahead.
This perfect stage of self-realization is attained not by artificial means, but under the lotus feet of the Lord, who is always transcendental. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that He is present in everyone's heart, and from Him only all knowledge, remembrance, or forgetfulness takes place. When the living being desires to be an enjoyer of material energy, illusory phenomena, the Lord covers the living being in the mystery of forgetfulness, and thus the living being misinterprets the gross body and subtle mind to be his own self. And by the culture of transcendental knowledge, when the living being prays to the Lord for deliverance from the clutches of forgetfulness, the Lord, by his causeless mercy, removes the living being's illusory curtain, and thus he realizes his own self. He then engages himself in the service of the Lord in his eternal constitutional position, becoming liberated from the conditioned life. All this is executed by the Lord either through his external potency or directly by the internal potency. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you for reading. So, what is being discussed here? It's again continuing the same theme. So, Prabhupada is mentioning here we cannot become self-realized by artificial ways. Yes, artificially we cannot become self-realized. Oh, I will try to. That's what Gyanis artificially try to do it. They think, oh, danda dharana matrena nara narayana bhavet. We just take a danda. It's artificial. Take a danda and we say we become Narayan. I am Narayan. They even call each other. Namo Narayanaya. Namo Narayanaya. Everyone is Narayan. Right? So this is artificial way. Again, even a yogi does things artificially many times. His imagination of the Virat Purusha is also artificial. It is only bhakti that is natural. Yes, so if you say not by artificial means, then what means by natural means? Why? Because bhakti is natural for the soul. Correct? So bhakti is the natural process of soul. What do we do in spiritual world? That's called bhakti. And the same thing we do in the spiritual world, if we are trying to do here without false ego, that's called as sadhana bhakti. Right? So we are doing sadhana bhakti because we got a material body. So there is even acharyas, when they come, all the acharyas are either manjaris or gopis in spiritual world. They have a very intimate connection with Krishna. So when they come here, they have a sadhana deha. Yes, because they are in this material body. It's a sadhana deha. But they also have a siddha deha, a perfected form, right? So what we do in the siddha deha in the spiritual world, the same thing we try to do here. It's called as sadhana bhakti. So bhakti is natural process of the soul in the spiritual world, right? And now here Prabhupada quotes this 15th chapter verse, Matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. It is Krishna who gives knowledge, remembrance and forgetfulness. And who does he give forgetfulness? Somebody wants to, you want to enjoy? You want to enjoy in this world? Okay, forget me. I'll give you. How can I forget you? Don't worry, I will make you forget me. He gives. Now we are in that particular state because we have desired enjoyment. We have desired that enjoyment and Krishna has given us forgetfulness. Yes, gopis were finding it very hard. They had to attend a course, a seminar by His Grace Uddhav Prabhu. No, His Divine Grace. His Divine Grace Uddhav Prabhu, the best friend of Krishna. They had to attend a seminar. And what is the topic of seminar? Art of forgetting Krishna. All the gopis enrolled for the seminar. And he was explaining them. Very difficult. None of the Vrajavasis could succeed in the seminar. They couldn't complete the certificate course. Because for them it's so natural to remember Krishna. And for us, it is so natural to forget Krishna. It's very hard to remember Krishna even for one moment. That we are not able to forget Krishna for a moment. See, that's the difference between Vrajavasis and material world Vasis. Opposite. Right? So when the living entity desires enjoyment, Krishna gives forgetfulness. Okay, Krishna Puliya. Okay. Now what? Now it is very important that culture of knowledge should be started. What does the culture of knowledge mean? The culture of knowledge means this culture of Srimad Bhagavatam. Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya. Coming every day and hearing from the spiritual master. We are all hearing from Srila Prabhupada, who is our preeminent Shiksha Guru. Right? We are every day hearing, every day reading and trying to understand and trying to discuss. So we do this culture, then what will happen? Oh, then we get the causeless mercy. But while we are doing this, we should also be offering prayer. Prabhupada is here mentioning what is the right prayer to be offered. So we have to pray to the Lord to be delivered from the clutches of forgetfulness. So we will all take about 10 seconds. We are almost on the verge of completion or conclusion of the class. But let's take this particular moment to pray to the Lord that please deliver us from this illusion of forgetfulness. We don't want to forget you. The forgetfulness program that we subscribed for initially because we wanted to enjoy, please cancel that subscription plan and please subscribe us to the plan of remembering Krishna. And that is the only intention for us to attend Srimad Bhagavatam. We are coming here to increase our remembrance of Krishna, and if possible, remember Krishna 24 hours and never forget him. So this prayer we should offer, and the same prayer we can even offer when we are chanting. That can be a mode. Our whole goal of chanting right in the morning. As soon as we get up, we start chanting after we are ready and fresh. Why? Because we want to set the intent for the whole day, every day. This day is dedicated to Krishna. Let me only remember Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And the prayer should be, let me never forget Krishna. That should be the mood Prabhupada is saying when we are chanting. Right? And remove that curtain of forgetfulness. That is the right mood. Okay, and then last statement that Prabhupada is making requires some explanation. All this is executed by the Lord either through his Maya Shakti or directly by his internal potency. What is the meaning of this? Yes, there is a meaning. We have to understand. Yeah. Becoming liberated from conditioned life. This is called as what? This is called as Jivan Mukta. Correct. Where is external potency and internal potency? Why these two? Why external potency is coming into picture? This is very nicely explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in the Chatushloki Bhagavatam commentary. So he says that there are two energies of Lord, external energy and internal energy. The external energy has two potencies. The first potency is called avidya, second is called vidya. So avidya keeps you in ignorance. Vidya takes you to mode of goodness. And paravidya is the spiritual energy which is in the mode of pure goodness. So if we have to get liberated first, it's very important to take shelter of vidya. Yes, which is also illusory potency only, mode of goodness. And then from the state of vidya, one moves to paravidya. Right? So jnanis, yogis, they are all situated in the mode of goodness. It's only the bhakta who are transcendental devotees. Right? So jnani's liberation, a yogi's liberation is actually external energy. Whereas on the other hand, what about a devotee? Mahatmanas tumam partha daivim prakriti mashrita. A devotee of Lord is always sheltered in daivi prakriti. That is pure goodness. So for him, internal potency. And these jnanis eventually have to take shelter of the internal potency of the Lord by praying to the Lord to get freed from even the vidya potency and come to paravidya. Okay, we will pause here, dear devotees, and those of you, any of you having any questions, comments, you're most welcome. Yes. Don't tell me it's all clear. If there are no questions, devotees can even write points that you liked. We can revise. We have 7 minutes. We can revise what you liked, what you appreciated. Yes, Ashita Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yeah, thank you so much. I love the beautiful prayer that you did at the end. But also, like, I had one question. So, in the purport, Prabhupada very strongly writes, like, there's a line that one has to be indifferent to the needs of the gross and subtle body. But then, I mean, we need to also take care of the physical and especially mental health these days also. Like, if the mind is in anxiety, depression, then we cannot chant. So then why is he, like when Prabhupada says so strong, indifferent and all that, I mean, how can we understand that?
Yes, yes. We'll go to that particular line. Yes, I was expecting somebody will ask this question. Thank you. I didn't have time to cover that point, so but yes, we'll go exactly there. Indifference. I'll show that particular section. We'll go there. Yeah. Was it here or it was a previous paragraph? Yeah, here. No? Self-realization means becoming indifferent to the needs of the gross and subtle bodies and becoming serious about the activities of self. Okay, heavy statement, but it's very important that we understand the context in which it is spoken. This means that the perfection of self-realization is made by adopting a godly or spiritual life. Yeah. So what is the need of the gross and subtle bodies? What usually the need we talk about? The need is categorized into 4 parts: eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Ahar, Nidra, Bhai, Maithun. This is the needs of everybody. That's why it's called as needs. There's simple categorization, and everything else is it's with that. Yeah. Now we need to understand that's why Prabhupada's previous statement, contextually, what does it mean? We need to lead a spiritual and godly life. Eating, yes, we don't eat. We honor prasadam. We don't sleep. We prepare our bodies for serving Krishna the next day. That's adopting a godly life. Mating, we don't mate to enjoy. It's a sacrifice done to invoke Krishna's mercy, to give a facility to another jiva to get a human body to perform bhakti. And finally, we don't defend. Defense is usually when we are arguing and we kind of justification. These are all defense. We defend our principles of bhakti through preaching Krishna consciousness, right? So adopting this godly life will automatically transform these four necessities of human life for one's physical and mental well-being into pure spiritual activities. Yes, ahar nidra bhai maitunam cha samanya metat pashubir naranam dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubir samana. So only animal takes care of eating, mating, sleeping, defending. But there is also the first this chapter, end of this chapter, Prabhupada is going to talk about pure eating, pure sleeping, pure mating, pure defending. So that is a pure life. So you have to convert to a spiritual life, pure life. That's what is the meaning. Is it okay? Prabhupada never says stop eating. No, Prabhupada has asked devotees to eat nice prasad and do a lot of service. Okay. Thank you. I hope it was convincing. How one moves from Vidya to Paravidya? Question. Yes. One goes from Vidya to Paravidya by the process of Srimad Bhagavatam, the culture of, as Prabhupada mentions. So, we have studied about the Atma Vidya, the science of soul, everything, that also from Guru. But the conclusion of all this spiritual knowledge is Bhakti. So, when one hears the Bhakti Shastras by taking shelter of the spiritual master, then one will go from Vidya to Paravidya. Yes, not just remain in Atma Shastras. One's mind always being defending mode. Yes, that's a conditioning. Mind being in defensive mode is because of the conditioning. Mind is programmed in such a way to protect the false ego. Yes, so the defense mechanism is to protect that false ego. Oh, I am the enjoyer. I am the proprietor. I am the controller. In order to satisfy this, justify this, the mind defends. But the moment one will stop believing this nonsense and Krishna Nityadas and starts, actually we cannot believe first and serve, first start serving, then we get the realization we are servants, and when that realization is there, the defense will stop automatically. Should we do Tulsi Arti in evening or not? Oh, you asked the question already. You can do, please do, no problem. Okay, we'd like to pause here our discussion, and I would like to thank all the devotees who came for the English Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. Very soon we are going to, in 1 minute we'll be starting our Hindi. जिनको इच्छा है सुनने की आप लोग सुन सकते हैं. We'll conclude our class here. जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय.